Hi folks, several students asked me about two particular warning messages that appear in from Catia when they're doing some mechanism simulations in the digital mockup module of Catia. These specific messages are shown here. A warning, at least one command parameter is out of its simulation range. The range has been automatically set in order to maintain the current parameter or contain the current parameter. The other one is the selected limit range, some range is given to you, does not contain the value of the parameter, which is, for example, what you see over there. So I'm trying to reproduce these two dialog boxes, a warning and one which is basically an error message, and tell you where it's coming from. All right. In order to do that, I have looked at the following mechanism, which is a very simple prismatic joint. So you have a track here and you have a block, and I have put some markers here every 1 inch apart. The entire length of the track from left end to the right end is 20 inches. So every 1 inch I have to put a marker. Actually, what it is some structure like that, just 1 inch apart. And there is also a pole in the middle to tell you where the position 0 is. Okay, so the constraints has been set, in other words, face to face and edge to edge, so that we end up with a prismatic joint. So let me, I am in the digital mockup right now in the DMU kinematic. I'm going to use the magic wand to automatically create these the joint, the prismatic joint. Mechanism number 1, auto create, and we say OK. So if you look at your application, there's a mechanism number 1, and there is a joint which is prismatic. So I'm going to double click on this joint, and we're going to make that thing a length-driven joint. And since the entire thing is 20 inches long, and the position 0 is right here, right in the middle, I'm going to make the range going from, let's say, hypothetically -5 to, I don't know, to 7. Okay, -5 to 7. Let me actually make it minus 3 to 7. Okay, so we close. By the way, notice that, let me double click on this thing again. There is a blue arrow here popping up. This blue arrow shows the direction of the motion. So if I put the cursor on it and click on it, it will reverse. So the motion, positive numbers are on this side and negative numbers on that side. Okay, so let's see what happened here. If I use the simulation bit command right there, the range that I specified, -3 to 7, if I drag the sliding bar to the left, it goes to -3, and if I drag it all the way to the right, it goes to 7. And if I reset it, it goes to the position 0. Okay? Now, the 0 always corresponds to the place where the block is located on the track. For example, if my block was originally sitting somewhere here, the 0 would be that location. Okay, for example, if this block was sitting even at 4 inches away to the right of this pole, then when you create the joint, prismatic joint, at that location where it's sitting, the 0 is located. But anyway, so that is independent of these warning messages that I was talking about. Now, suppose that I go here and click on this box here. I can change the range of motion. For example, I can go from -2, let's say, to, I don't know, to 5. -2 to 5. And I say, okay, no problem. It goes from -2 to 5. I drag this thing, it goes to -2, and I drag this thing to the right, it goes to 5. Good. And when I reset it, it goes back to where my 0 was. Okay. By the way, if I close that and I double click on the prismatic joint, notice that the change that I made, -2 and 5, is actually reflected there. So I say, okay, all right. Now let me take this block and literally move it out of the range of -2 to 5. So I'm going to take this compass, put it there, double click on the compass. You all know how to use the compass. So I'm going to move it to the left to some location, let's say -4. And I say, okay, close it. So now, remember, the range for the joint was -2 to 5. When I click on simulation with command, this dialog box, which was the warning box, pops up. It says that, look, you told me that the range of motion is -2 to 5. However, your block is now sitting at a location which is outside of range. So Catia is automatically going to change the range so that it covers where it's sitting right now. So it's going to go probably from -4 to 5. And we say, okay, notice that it did go from -4 to 5. All right. Now, once again, you can change this if you want, no problem, but I'm not going to do that. And in fact, if you close this and you double click on prismatic joint, it says -4 to 5. So we know where that first warning message is coming from. In other words, you define the range of motion of the prismatic joint. However, the object that is supposed to move along a prismatic joint is outside of that range. So Catia is going to give you that warning message and automatically is going to change it to the new range. Okay, no problem. Now comes the second issue. Okay, so suppose I double click on the prismatic joint. All right. Now let's say that I make this from -6 to 5. -6 to 5. So the block is sitting at -4, we know that, and I'm going to change it to -6. Okay? And say okay. There is no issue because the block was already sitting at the position which is inside of the new range of motion that I'm defining, -6 to 5. So for example, if I move this thing to -6, drag it to the left, it goes to -6, drag it to the right, it goes to 5, and if I reset it, it goes back to that position -4. Fine, no big issue here. If I double click on prismatic joint and now specify a range of motion where this block is not sitting there. For example, if I say from -2 to 5, right now it's sitting at -4, I'm going to change it -2 to 5, and so what it's saying, this parameter out of range is saying that, look, my friend, your block is not in the range of motion that you're trying to impose. As a matter of fact, this 50.8 -50.8 is -2 inches converted to millimeter. So times 25.4 is going to give you that. And the 5 inches translates in 127 millimeter. And where the block was sitting was the location -101.6. Okay, and it's not going to like it. So it's out of range, and it's not going to do it. Even if you try to close it, come back to the same message. So either you have to cancel it or change this to some other value which actually the block right now is sitting within the range that you're specifying. For example, I can make it probably -4 actually it's going to do it, because right now it's sitting at -4, and I say okay, no problem. Okay, -4 to 5. So we found out where these two messages are coming from. Okay, I hope that helps to clarify some of the questions that people were asking.